All right, solve x squared plus 10x minus 3 by completing the square. So we started getting the basic ideas of completing the square yesterday. It is essentially saying turn it into a perfect square trinomial. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to send the negative 3. We're going to send it to the other side of the equal sign by adding 3. So we'll have x squared plus 10x. And then we're going to add some term over here. We got the negative 3 to the other side by adding 3, so it's positive 3. And then we're also going to add our mystery term to the other side. So remember, the way we find that is we take our b, in this case 10, we divide it by 2, and then we're going to square it. So 10 divided by 2 is 5. 5 squared is 25. So we're going to add 25 to each side. So if we do that, the left side, x squared plus 10x plus 25, simplify to x plus 5 squared. So x plus 5 squared equals, on the other side, 3 plus 25 is 28. Now, thinking about how we solve problems with roots, you undo the squaring by square rooting both sides. So it just becomes x plus 5 over here. On the other side, 28 is not a perfect square, but it has perfect squares in it. It's 4 times 7. And the square root of 4 is 2, but remember, it could be 2 or negative 2. So we're going to write plus or minus 2 root 7. 7 doesn't have any perfect squares left in it. Your only other step then is to get x by itself. So to get rid of the plus 5, we subtract 5, which would give us x equals negative 5 plus or minus 2 root 7. And remember, this is showing you two different answers. That's showing you negative 5 plus 2 root 7 and negative 5 minus 2 root 7. If you substitute either of those answers into the original equation, they both work out. So let's try another one. So get the a and b together, get the c to the other side, set up a perfect square, square root, and solve. Okay, here we go. Now this one, just to give you a preview, so if you can solve by factoring, it's faster. But the nice thing about completing the squares, you can always do it. Like this one, factors of 20 that are 8 apart would be 10 and 2. So it would factor to x plus 10 and x minus 2, which would give us x equals negative 10 and x equals positive 2. That way it is quicker, but you can't always factor. So it is important to learn completing the square, and it's important to learn the quadratic formula, which is coming up pretty soon. So we are going to send the negative 20 to the other side, make it positive 20. So we have x squared plus 8x plus blank equals positive 20 plus that same blank. To figure out the blank, we take our b, divide it by 2, and then square it. 8 divided by 2 is 4, and 4 squared is 16. So our perfect square over here, our perfect square trinomial will be x plus 4 squared. That's what x squared plus 8x plus 16 would factor to. X plus 4 squared equals the other side, 20 plus 16 is 36. We got a square root to get rid of that squared, x plus 4. Now 36 is a perfect square, but remember it can be 6 or negative 6, so we'll say plus or minus 6. Now we get rid of the plus 4 by subtracting 4. X equals negative 4 plus or minus 6. We can actually do this. You can simplify this because 6 is a regular number. You can't always do it, well, you can't do it when it's the roots. So negative 4 minus 6 would be negative 10, and negative 4 plus 6 would be positive 2. Those answers sound pretty familiar. Negative 10, positive 2. But look at the amount of work we just took to get that. Whereas if you can factor, if you're comfortable with factoring, you save so much time and so much energy. But again, not everything is always factorable. So you can always do completing the square. X squared minus 6x plus 12 equals 22. We got to get rid of the plus 12. So we're going to subtract 12. Those will cancel out. So we will have x squared minus 6x plus the mystery number. 22 minus 12 is 10 plus the mystery. Divide our b by 2, negative 6 divided by 2, and then we will square it. That will give us negative 3 squared, which is positive 9. Plus 9 plus 9. The left side factor is 2x minus 3 squared. X minus 3 squared equals 10 plus 9 is 19. Undo the squaring by square rooting. 19 doesn't have any perfect squares in it. So we'll just say plus or minus root 19. And then we just have to get rid of minus 3 by adding 3 to both sides. X equals 3 plus or minus root 19. It shows you both exact answers. So sometimes they might say round to the nearest hundredth or something. And you could actually get the decimal then for the square root of 19. But this is a more exact answer, right? Because if it's not a perfect square, then that decimal goes on forever. So that is exact. I think we got 2 more. 2x squared minus 12x equals 14. So we've got the a and the b on the same side, but it's got to just be 1x squared in order to do completing the square. So if we're going from 2x squared to 1x squared, we'd have to divide by 2. But if we do that to one part of the equation, we have to keep it balanced and do it to everything. So we'd have x squared minus 6x. We'll put our blank in now. 14 divided by 2 is 7 plus blank. Great. Cut it in half and square it. We get negative 3 squared again, which is positive 9. So this would factor to x minus 3 squared equals 7 plus 9 is 16. Oh, nice. 16 is a perfect square. It's 4. So we'll have x minus 3 equals plus or minus 4. Get rid of the minus 3 by adding 3. X equals 3 plus or minus 4. And we will go with some exact answers here. 3 minus 4 is negative 1. And 3 plus 4 is 7. If you substitute either of those things into the original equation, they both work. Similar situation. We're going to have to get the 12 over there. We're also going to have to divide by the 3. So it doesn't matter which order you do it in. But I'm just going to divide everything by 3 first. So that would give us x squared minus 2x minus 4 equals 0. And this will illustrate what I'm talking about. You can't factor. There are no factors of 4 that are 2 apart from each other. So that's not even an option on this one. So that's why you have to know some other methods that you can use. So we'll add the 4 over there. Positive 4. Cut our b in half and then square it. Give us negative 1 squared. Negative 1 times negative 1 is 1. Left side would factor to x minus 1 squared. The right side, 4 plus 1 is 5. Get rid of the square by square rooting. 5 doesn't have any perfect squares. X minus 1 equals plus or minus root 5. And then just get rid of your minus 1. Plus 1 plus 1. List them separately if you'd like. I like listing them in the same thing. 1 plus or minus root 5. It just looks cuter. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? That's it. Yeah, we did it. We completed squares. Day 2.